Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Howdy, Ranch Ruse. It's JBB. I'm back. No, it's been a while. Let me check my audio because I have not done this in months. Up, I am here. All right. I know things are working then. So, welcome back to the RanchCast. It's been a little while. Glad to see you all out there in the interwebs. So if you notice, we've done a little bit new with the setup. We have Twitch running now as we've always had. We're now using YouTube events because I want to do this regularly. So at bare minimum, every other week I'll be doing a RanchCast episode. It'll be like now, Tuesday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern, and we're going to talk developer topics. So mostly developer topics. Not to say that operators are important or won't talk DevOps culture or things of that nature, but really when I look back at all the things that Rancher Labs was doing while I was at Rancher Labs, I realized I'm like the developer voice. It's kind of, I spent 15 years as a software developer, and I love developing software and I love helping out software developers. So I'm just going to keep doing that. So let's talk about what's happened in the last couple of months since the last RanchCast. I was doing the automating all the things series. That may come back. I haven't decided yet. That really will depend on what I'm working on in my day-to-day job. So I've moved. Let's do the intros. So today, if you'd like to join the RanchCast, let's switch the camera over. All right, if you'd like to join the RanchCast, the chat. I've turned off the chat on YouTube. I don't watch the chat on Twitch. It's just too much. I'm a one-man show. So if you'd like to join us on Slack. You can go to slack.rancher.io, type in your email address here, and then come join us. And we'll be doing chat. Come say hi. I've seen some people join the chat already this morning. Feel free to post questions as we go, or just general questions at all. I don't mind I don't mind taking taking tangents and things of that nature. If we don't finish what we're going to talk about in the time we have, and we have till a little after 10 a.m. Eastern time, so about an hour to an hour and a half, we'll just continue on the next week. So this is not an episodic program. This really is a stream of consciousness. Let's work on something. Let's work on something else. Let's learn some new tools and see how it goes. Let's see. I am all right. So the other thing that has happened is I have joined Rancher Federal. So to understand the relationship between Rancher Labs and Rancher Federal is Rancher Federal is a service provider for Rancher Labs software in the government and military space. So way back in the early 2000s, I did DoD work, and Val never did do DoD work again. And then the Platform One project came along. So if you want to know more about what I'm working on, check out Platform One. Platform One, DoD Enterprise, DevOps Services. Everything I'll show here is public. I won't, no spying, no trade secrets, nothing of that nature. But this is what I'm doing more day to day. I'm doing some software development. I'm doing some operations. I'm doing some Jira and Confluence. It really is wherever the need is. But this is about bringing DevSecOps practices to the DoD, and that makes me really excited because back during my DoD days in the early 2000s. IT operations was not so much fun, and being a developer in DoD operations was not much fun. So this is a really exciting project. There are people from a bunch of different companies, a bunch of different consulting firms, all over the United States, all working on this project, and it's a lot of fun. So that project came up. I found it interesting, ended up on a contract with Rancher Federal, and then we didn't know what to do with the RanchCast. So I sat down with Adrian and we talked about the future of where he wanted to go with development and community evangelism with Rancher Labs, and we talked about where the RanchCast fits in. And since the RanchCast has always kind of been developer focused, he said, just keep doing it. Keep the channel, and we'll do some collaborative things together. Those of you who joined the Rancher Labs office hours for EMEA last week, noticed that I was part of that. So I will still be involved in some labs things, even as a non-labs, as not a labs employee. Just because I've got friends there and I care about their mission too. And as always, if you want to check out the things that Rancher Labs is doing, rancher.com. Lots of people talked about the SUSE Rancher acquisition. It's a really good thing. It really is. It caught me by surprise, And when I started looking into it and looking into it more, I love where labs is going, and federal will be acquired as part of that as well. So we'll all be one big happy family again. So I left for a couple of months, and then I'll be coming back post acquisition, and that's about all I know. I know the regulatory things and things I can't talk about, but I don't know enough to be dangerous. So that's a good thing. So what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about K3d. So K3d started actually as a community project. It's inspired by two separate projects. The first one being K3s, and the second one being Kind. So K3s is lightweight Kubernetes, a project that was started by Rancher Labs, has been around for a while, is a fully CNCF compliant distribution of Kubernetes. It's just very lightweight and is meant to run Kubernetes everywhere. Kind, which is Kubernetes in Docker. And I'll be 100% honest, I never really got into Kind. I was using Minikube as a Windows developer when I was doing Kubernetes work, and even that wasn't that often. I think Kind is awesome. I think it's actually a really cool project. But these are the two projects that kind of informed K3d. And K3d was not started by Rancher Labs, though it was Rancher Labs adopted it. The creators of K3d got it so far, and then kind of invited us along for the ride when I was with Labs. And so we've kind of taken it under our wing, and 3.0 was just released. So we're actually working against 3.0. I've been using 3.0 betas for a while in preparation for this, and just in my day-to-day, because it really is a better piece of software than the 1.0 project. And why not 2.0? I guess 2.0 was just too trendy. I'll have to ask Darren. I do take sips of coffee and water and things of that nature. Like I said, this is informal, so let's get started. So today we're going to talk about K3d as a developer tool. So right now I'm doing a lot of things where I'm actually building software again, which I hadn't done in a couple of years. I've learned Golang in the last several months. So I decided to use K3d for my day-to-day because cloud resources take a little while to spin up. And K3s is awesome and also lightning fast. But what if I just want to destroy state really fast? And actually, we'll talk about Ketchup at some point. It's K3s UP by Alex Ellis, which is also an awesome project. We'll touch on that later. So maybe not today, but definitely in a future episode. So K3d, awesome to know it's targeting 3.0, which means that Doc should be targeting 3.0, which is a good thing. So we're going to build out the beginnings of a continuous integration pipeline as part of our day-to-day. Okay, Windows, let me drag mine. Yeah, we use keyboard shortcuts. I was just going to drag the window, but you made me do it. And we're going to start just with a simple file, or a simple script. So, new file, do our hash bang. And let's just make sure we know that this is a shell script. Nope, not PowerShell. Bash? Did I say bash? Really? I thought bash was in here. And this is backwards. This should be hash bang. We'll just actually save this now. And we're in our source directory for now. src, I don't know, let's call it test.sh. This will be our kind of build and test. I'm just going to leave that alone. All right. Shell script. There we go. I want to make this a little larger because I have no idea if you on the interwebs can see this or not. I just know that I have trouble seeing things on small screens because I have glasses and I'm nearsighted. So first things first, we're going to assume a clean system. So no kubectl, no K3d, no Kubernetes tools. That's not true in my case, but we're going to assume that, to begin with. Oh, Adrian, so my bigger text in the terminal. Thank you, Adrian. I'm going to turn off my alerts there. Let's do that too. Thank you, Adrian. Focus assist and alarms only. Good. Don't want to go back to the terminal. We'll make that much, much bigger. There we go. All right, so first things first, let's assume, we're going to assume Linux, let's say Ubuntu, because I know enough people using Ubuntu, and also my Windows terminal is also Ubuntu terminal, and let's assume no Kubernetes stuff. So we'll need kubectl first. Now, to install kubectl, check out the install setup kubectl documentation for your distribution or for Windows. And I'm going to actually, as I go, grab the links I use. We'll paste them in the comments for the YouTube channel, and we'll put them in the show notes. I'm going to get into the habit of show notes. That will also be part of this. So we're going to install kubectl. We're also going to install K3d, which means we're going to need the latest release of K3d. We'll use 3.0.0. And so we have it here in GitHub, and I don't see releases. Fortunately, it should just be here in releases. All right, good. So, oh, look at that. Why v3? Because v2 was too mainstream. Roll face. All right. Also because K3d v3 just sounds so good. I really can't blame you. That does roll off the tongue nicely. Installation. Breaking changes. Ooh, let's actually read this. We used verb noun. Now have it. Create my cluster. Decided to follow the route of major cloud CLIs that use noun verb. Okay, well, remember that. I will absolutely mess with the. I will absolutely mix that up. Inclusive terminology when applicable. Sounds good to me. New feature. Multi-server clusters, embedded data store, update existing configs. So in the betas, I've had some weird issues here. So we'll make sure that we account for that. Handling nodes independently from clusters. All right. Sounds good. Missing features. Oh, interesting. I didn't use the registry feature, so that will not affect me. So let's do our first, let's get back into our scripts. And I've got my cheat sheets over on the side. Some things I've done here before. Just because that way we're not fuddling around all morning. So we're going to grab kubectl if it doesn't exist, but we will check our links. So thing one, we want kubectl if it does not exist. So we use the command to check if commands are there. If it's there, we continue. Now this isn't checking for version. Some of my scripts I'll actually check for version numbers as well. I actually think of the other RanchCast scripts, my beginning shell script does check the versions if they match essentially a version table. Don't know why I didn't do that for this, but let's see. Stable, bin, around my camera. Yep, that all looks good. So I don't see anything of issue there. We can leave that alone. So we'll install that if it doesn't exist. And we'll actually remove it to make sure that we've done this right. So, all right, rm local bin. It's going to yell at me for not having permissions. And we're good. Okay, so we have no kubectl. And what we'll do is we'll paste one into our test script. We'll try it out, and then we'll leave it. If we have to make changes, we will. Now, I've played with this script a lot, so it should just work. But live coding. We're gonna start here, and let's check to see if we get kubectl out of this. Installed. All right, that looks good. So we're getting kubectl. We should have it now, and it should have copied over there. And which kubectl, good. Let's see what version we're up to. All right. Yeah, I know the server's not going to work. I don't have one that I'm connected against. That's why we're here. So that's thing one. We have kubectl. I think I've already removed K3d because I haven't. Yep, good. Now, there is an app version. I don't know if we're maintaining that or the community is. We could probably easily find out, but I like doing it the scripty way because then we don't have a dependency on apt. So again, we're going to do a very similar thing we did with kubectl, and we're going to do K3d. So what this will do is it'll check if we have K3d. If it's found, it's continuing, and then otherwise we install, and we need a K3d version. So up at the top. Now, you can make these command line arguments. I just like putting them at the top of the script. And I believe it's like, I believe we're following semantic versioning. So that would be a v3.00. All right, let's check the page, because I know I was using RC3 the last time I was playing around. 300, and we're just gonna, yep, tag. Good, confirmed. So now let's go ahead and run that against our page. 404 not found, line 1. Oh. Yeah, we copied our comment over. Oh, wait a minute. I've got messages that I do have to check that did not pop up in the notifications. All right. And that's good. Nothing major. I'm still working, so if something, emergency pops up, I gotta check it, but that was not an emergency. Oh, and let's make this font bigger. This is small font. I like it's like 150. Yeah, 150. There we go. That's much better, at least for broadcasting. And of course, if you want to do it the quick way, you can go and just wget it or curl it, and that's essentially what our install script is doing. And let's go ahead and copy and paste that without getting the and then we should, we also tell it which version we're going to use, and we're going to go ahead and install it. And this is how I go about writing my bash scripts for things that I'm going to use. Command not found. Did I really? No, that should just work. I too wrong. X is the same as my other one. Yeah, we're just gonna grab the whole thing. Expect lots and lots of mistakes. I make. Really? Huh. I'm gonna have to figure out what I've done wrong here. Command not found. I expect the command not to be found, and I expect it to fail. Weird. All right, I'll figure that later. That'll be for the show notes. This is why we do it live. Figure out. Wait, it's a line 4. Okay. Figure out why I broke command not found. Yep. Like I said, this part of this is just figuring out live, and it's kind of like how we do, when we're actually developing software and scripts. When we fail miserably because we broke something, and I have broke something. So we're just gonna grab the curl script. Ooh. Oh. I see what I did. This probably is no longer the right thing. So if let's find out what happens when we curl this. Not found. Good thing I have K3d on everything that we've done. So, oh, cool. We've changed master to main to be more inclusive. Understandable. It just broke my scripts. Fine. I'm gonna have to do that everywhere as we become a more inclusive society, because I know I've got a ton of scripts that are just against master. Okay, so we've actually found that out. And I'm actually going to change that over my notes too, because that will break that in my notes. Making a note to change that in my production scripts, because that will have broken my production scripts. And let's try that again, shall we? All right. If Okay. K3 not installed, installing. All right. See if it works. All right, and let's see, we should have version 3.0.0. All right. K3d, K3s version. So, K3d is quite literally K3s in Docker. Just like Kind is Kubernetes in Docker, this is K3s in Docker. It's a really cool project. So, we can do lots and lots of fun stuff now. I wonder if it still has my config from what I was working on earlier. K3d clusters. What can I do? Yes, cluster list. That's not list. Oh, it's list. Oh, I do have one, but that thing is probably in a weird state because I've been mucking around with this machine. Cluster remove. Is it remove? No, it's delete. It's like it's staring me right in the terminal. And then what is it called? It's called chatbot. I've been running a chatbot. Not a Slack chatbot like the one that used to say hi to everybody when I was director of community, but one for a tool called Mattermost. So Mattermost, think of chat, but you own it. So I have run into this quite a bit that we'll have to work around because I do use. We're going to unset that too because I don't know if it's going to cause a problem or not. But I have a script that when my profile starts up, it looks for all the config files in my .kube directory and creates the kube config variable. And I've had some issues with that. So we want to create a cluster. So first, in a CI/CD loop, we want to start with a fresh state. So I like removing our existing clusters if there is one. Oops, I didn't mean to paste that there. I want to paste that in code. So first things first, we remove an existing cluster if it exists. So it may or may not exist. K3d get cluster name, and so we'll need a cluster name variable. That's fine. We'll call this our RanchCast cluster. And I think so. And then so what that'll do is that if the cluster actually exists, it'll remove it. We're going to use that same K3 to remove it. And then we're going to sleep for 5 seconds because it's doing Docker commands. And sometimes things take a little while to shut down, especially when you're running a full Kubernetes server in Docker. So cluster name is RanchCast. And this should be innocuous. No get for K3d. Oh, that. So I have another broken thing. I bet it's cluster get. This again, shall we? This is my going from one version to another. No clusters found. All right, so we'll fix that too. Cluster get. Fix that in my notes. To change that in prod because I have a broken prod in one of my or many of my projects. And it's one I wrote all this stuff against the beta when I was doing my notes and didn't realize that 3.0 had come out. So hey, that's part of testing, testing beta and release kit and software. So let's look into what options we have when standing up a cluster. Oops, K3 cluster, and then we want create, and we want to see some help. Oh, we have lots and lots of options. So let's do that with some less. And walk through it, shall we? So, create a new cluster with containerized nodes, K3s and Docker. Cluster with one or more server node, one load balancer. Ooh, it switched to Nginx. So it had been using traffic, it's now using Nginx. Wonder how much of my stuff it's going to break. Actually, hopefully not a whole lot. I can think of one or two things in a couple of projects where I've had to tell an operator or tell Kubernetes that the class is of type traffic. So that actually probably make my life easier because Nginx is just almost ubiquitous in the open source space. So agents, how many agents you want to create? We want how many servers, we want a specific API port. So that's actually exposing the Kubernetes API port if I want to talk directly to it. So maybe we'll do that as well. Let's see, version of K3s, the image we want. we'll leave the defaults there. Join existing network. We have to join existing network, but that'd be an interesting thing to play with sometime. And then this is the really important part: is I need to be able to map ports. So I'm going to, yeah, we'll split on Mattermost today. Mattermost takes actually Mattermost takes a little while. Maybe we'll just use Nginx because it's simple. Not real realistic though. I'll have to think about that. You know what? Maybe we'll just do a very simple Golang application that's exposing a Prometheus endpoint, and we'll use the Prometheus endpoint. Yeah, but I don't have something. Do I have something with a Prometheus endpoint that I could just spin up? I don't want to go through the whole Docker file rigmarole this morning. I don't really have time for that. So, you know what? We'll just, yeah, we'll deploy something. Maybe Nginx, because that actually will expose sports for us. So, so ports to expose, the host, the container, host or host port, container port, protocol, so TCP, UDP, at node filter. Now I know the node filter thing works for load balancers. We'll check the docs there, because I want to see the docs have been up to date. Because last time I looked at the K3d docs, they were up against 1.0, so I was, you know, learning by reading source code. I assume that being a developer, you can learn by reading source code. So, oh, I can say 801 at agent 1. Okay, agents. All right, good to know. And then switching context for a new cluster context. Global flag, verbose, and timeout. Don't expect to have any issues with timeouts, but we'll see. And what else do we have in here? K3d cluster. With delete, we have list. Start and stop. What do we have in here? Handle container images. Ooh, I haven't played with that at all. Let's see what that does. Not pipe. So handle container images, import images from Docker. Oh, this will save me so much. It's awesome. Okay, that'll be good. Because I usually end up doing this double hop thing where I build my container image and then I push it to a Docker registry and then I pull it back down for Kubernetes. Ooh, I love that. All right, and then we have generation completion scripts. You should do that. And that would be a, if we have time at the end, maybe we'll do that. Because I don't think I have that set up for K3d on my own machine. And then import. So yeah, maybe we'll play with import on another episode because I haven't touched it at all, and I don't really have a need for it right now. Today, yeah, okay. So let's create a cluster, and then we'll need a couple things. So we're going to need probably an agent count. All right, so we'll need a couple things. We'll need an agent count. Let's do 3. 3 is a good round number. We want a cluster API port. And I've been using, that's just my muscle memory there working. What else do we expose? We expose a load balancer. So I'm in WSL. That WSL will redirect into Windows, and it does some really interesting things. And I'm not sure how it does it because we just haven't had time to look at the code. But we'll need to redirect from inside, from a port inside, or from the load balancer to outside the load balancer. All right, let's do that. So let's use something like, what am I? See, I don't even know what I have running as far as things. Hopefully I have nothing on 8088. And hopefully that, let me think, is that all I'm going to need? It may be, actually, I'm going to need an ingress name of some sort. What's my host name? Let's find out. DB ThinkPad. So, cap that. I know I've got some others in there that I've been working on. VB ThinkPad local domain, VB ThinkPad.local. Let's use VB ThinkPad.local. So if we do an ingress domain name, And I think VB ThinkPad.local is also on my Windows side as well. We can check that. I try to make them match so I don't have issues when I go from Linux to Windows and all those things within WSL. So that's something to think about there. And all right. So we're going to use this create command. We're going to expose a few things. And we're going to expose the load balancer. I'm checking my notes real quick to see what that, what the load balancer was pointed to. So, good. Nope, not that one. We want this one. So let's do a K3d, clusters, create, help again, because we want to put this thing together. So we're going to create, we're going to call it, oh, we need a name. We're going to call it, what I call it, the RanchCast. I call everything the RanchCast. All right, so we got that. We want agents. I like to be able to spell these things out well. And then we'll do that to agent, what I call it? I call it agent count. Agent count, yep. And then we want the API port. And that was, that is what I called that, right? API, oh no, cluster API. And so we have agents, not doing anything with network. Oh, we need our port mappings. All right. So we're going to map. And let's just be consistent, use -- port. And we're going to get that load balancer port mapped. So host container, host container, host container. I do that because I mess it up every time, and I'll mess it up for weeks and not notice it, and I'll do backflips to get to that port because I messed it up. So I happen to just know that the node filter for load balancer is called load balancer. So good. So that'll be something to know. So we'll use the load balancer port. So this is the port on the host. And then it's 80 and 443 inside, and we're making sure that we're talking to the load balancer. I need a flag to say that no, the load balancer is default, right? Will consist of server, one load balancer. All right. And there's a no LB flag. I wonder if I can swap out for traffic now. It just, random question. It's something to put actually show notes. Why we have the show notes. All right, check if we can use traffic. There's an E in there, isn't there? Yeah. I'll be as a load balancer. Okay. So that'll be something for me to check out. And token, nope. Just like we can by default we generate one. That's fine. Update default config. No, we're not going to automatically update that. We're actually going to grab that. So let's create a cluster. We're going to put that in our test script. We're going to stand up a cluster. Thanks, terminal. Appreciate the help there. K3d, cluster create, the RanchCast agents, agent count, port SOF. Actually, let's just go ahead and set all these. I'm going to be setting them over and over again. This is just like I said, this is how I go about developing these things. There. Let's grab that again, shall we? Test. I want this one. And let's see how bad I broke it. All right. We're looking good. Network. Agent. LB. Woohoo! I don't know what K3d proxy does. I don't recognize that. Plus the RanchCast. It can be used like this. Oh, did it automatically set my kube config? I don't think it did. Oh no, it did. I didn't want it. What? Was there a flag there that I missed? I mean, that's simple, and I don't mind that it does that, but I thought when we did help, I had to specify that it was going to do that. K3d, cluster, create. Okay. Switch context. Oh, implies update config. Oh, there it is. Default true. I didn't read it. That's my fault. I did it to myself. Update default kube config and switch context. Switch context will switch to the default kube context current default true and assumes update default, which is also true. Oh. All right. I'll leave that alone for now. I think when I go to, if I go to production with this script, I'm going to actually make it so it's not changing kube config. I like to explicitly outline everything I do in that case. So I'm going to put in actually a switch to the kube config to get the kube config as well. And again, I'm grabbing from my handy dandy notes. I don't think the beta did that to me automatically. I really don't think it did. It might have. So we're going to set up our kube config, and it's just K3d. We're going to double check to make sure this works. Now, you'll notice I have a sleep in here and this loop. And the reason for this loop is pretty simple. When this runs through and creates the cluster may not come up instantly. It may come up really fast, but it may not come up instantly. And this command may fail. So we want to make sure that this happens successfully. So we'll actually do this right here. And it should just be instantaneous. Maybe. Ooh. Oh, that's right. This is one of those areas where it changed between the beta and now. So we want kubeconfig get. I think it's kubeconfig get. We'll know in a second. Now, won't we? Let's check our help. So, like I said, I developed all this against the beta. Things changed for good. It's actually more consistent. Kubeconfig. Yep, that's what I would assume. Now, I don't see an output flag here. So I think you can specify to get the kubeconfig into output. Well, I'll muck around with that later. I feel like there's an output flag on there in one of the betas or maybe a release candidate. Yeah, I think I can specify where that goes. Or we could just experiment. How am I doing on time? Oh, we're at 9:38. I got some time. Let's experiment. So, K3d get config or kube config get cluster. No nodes found for ranch. Oh, I called it the RanchCast. So cluster name equals the RanchCast. Right. All right. So cluster name is RanchCast. Yeah, that's what I'd expect. Can we -o this? Play.slash no -o. I feel like there's a -o in the beta. Not that big a deal. So that changes my script. That means I'm actually going to have to pipe that out to a file if I want to copy that somewhere. So, right? Yeah. We'll just pipe that out to RanchCast.config. Good. And then by source, and then I echo config. Yep. Has all my conf. Oh, I got a home JSON kube because that one doesn't exist anymore, and I just don't want to mess with things. And let's source that again. Good. So that's not what I wanted. But this is good to know. So I'm going to put this into my file. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create the cluster. We're also gonna make sure we're not updating the config file. So K3d create. Oh, no, it's cluster create. I still have muscle memory for v1, which is fine. And I'll break that over time. So we want this to be false. A default kubeconfig. And then I think it's false. Why not? Default true. Yeah, we'll assume it's false. Which means we also don't want to automatically switch context. So switch context implies update kubeconfig is true. So switch context will also, we're just being explicit. We don't really have to, because saying false should not mean we don't have context to switch to. And this is also false. Yeah, false. False. Weird fingers. All right. So we have our switch context. We have our update config. We stand up a cluster. We want that to work. I'm going to send that to... And we'll send that to kube. No. Kube slash cluster name dot conf. And then, yep. All right. I think the double redirections overwrite operator right. This is why we have Google. Bash redirection. I can remember which one is append and which one is overwrite. All right, redirection. File, if the file was created, the general format of pending is that. So it's console X for still full press for still out. Pending. So that appends. All right, I'm gonna assume that redirect input, redirect output, created if it is not zero size. All right, I'm thinking this one. I could be making a huge mistake. It's all right. That's how we learn. All right. So we've set up. We do that. We set up a kubeconfig. Let's actually treat this as a script then. Oh, interesting. Why am I W? Oh, I probably did in the VSL, didn't I? That's okay. Let's actually run it, because this will actually clean up as it goes. Where did I put this? W home. So okay, I know where this is. It's inside of WSL. I don't live in here very often. All right. Ooh, broke it. What did I break? I broke everything. I broke all the things. K3 found, K3d found, no clusters found, call RanchCast. Oh, that's fine. Error. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But I also broke something else. Error accepts between 0 and 1 args. Receive 3. I received 3 args. Okay, what'd I do? Agents. Cluster get. That's fine. Oh, there's not one called RanchCast. We'll go back to the RanchCast because that will actually remove it. I have no idea what I did wrong. Oh, I bet it's those. Yeah. No, those flags should work. All right. Let's break it again, shall we? Oh, unknown command delete. that doesn't help. K3d cluster. Again, it's probably a beta or a 1.0 command leaking into present time. Yep, cluster. Delete. Yeah, that'll do it. Yay, we're destroying stuff. Woohoo! And kubeconfig. Oh, I bet that's going to cause me pain. Oh. Okay. What don't you like about this? Find out. All right, so all of these should be set. Let's see what mistakes I've made. And this should run, right? Cluster, create, the name, and a whole bunch of flags. Okay. Accepts between 0 and 1 args received 3. That's not a helpful message. It really isn't. What? Okay, let's find out which one I need to run. Agents, agent count. Yep, looks good. Agents int. Yeah, that should work. API port. Oh. No, that should work too. Port, load balancer. All right. That's one. I wonder if I need equals after all these. I wonder if there's having a parsing issue. Let's find out. So port equals, not that, nope, that. So where I have my equals key is really close to where I have the microphone in my way. I don't actually need to see it most of the time. Create RanchCast agent port, load balancer, false and false. Oh, that was fun. That was it. It did not like the mixture of not equals and equals. Okay. Kind of a craptastic. Oh. Well, that's helpful. That's different than before. Oh, because I used the update false and the switch false. All right, so we're going to copy this and update our test file. Thank you. And then kubeconfig equals. So what's that going to do? Let's find out what that's going to do. Echo. Oh, throws it right into the config file. Okay. I mean, for a dev setup, that's probably just fine. I'm not going to do it that way because I want it after this comp file and there. All right, so let's just run the whole test again. All right, that looks good. You know what? We're going to unset that kubeconfig because I don't like what that warning. I'm sure it's something stupid with Bash that I'm not thinking about. You know what? We are going to unset the unset that. So we're going to make this part of that too, since this is custom here. We're going to delete that. We're going to RM this. And we're going to unset. All right. Oh, I did save that. Okay. I might not have saved it. But that's why I might have had an issue before. All right, let's echo. All right, so it throws it in there. I don't like it throwing it in there, but it's okay. We can fix this. Just gonna set the kube config. Equals to, and this is really just for my own sanity. I don't like having that in my environment variable. It bothers me. And let's run it again. Did I save it? I did save it. Good. All right. First thing, CTO cluster info. That is working. Good. Let's see what our kube config looks like. No. No. What did I do wrong? Oh, do I have to source that? No, I shouldn't have to source that. Oh, it's export, not set. I am not a smart man. Not at all. Alright. And because this thing only takes a couple seconds to run, and this is why I like K3 as a dev tool. I can just destroy and create Kubernetes clusters to my heart's content all day long. We could install Rancher. That'd be an interesting test. Yeah, let's do that. At least at least then that gives me, like, if I were to set up a dev thing where I want to do some Terraform, but I want to do it all local, yeah, that would work out pretty well. Yeah, let's go out to the Rancher docs. So I do everything by docs because things change. Okay, so rancher.com/docs, and we're gonna go through the Rancher 2 docs. I was just gonna do simple Nginx, but why do that simple when we can do something slightly more complicated? And I'm cool with that. So, you know, did I go to docs? No, I went to products. Hey, oh, sorry, I don't mean to bang the mic on you. X. Boom. Installing Rancher. We're gonna do a quick and dirty install. We've already got Docker installed. We know that. Installing Rancher on a Kubernetes cluster. Now, I've not ever tried to do Rancher in WSL2. We'll see how that goes. We already have a Kubernetes cluster. Oh, we'll need Helm. All right. So I have in the RanchCast a check for Helm thing in here. I'm just going to steal it from there because I don't feel like coming up with it from scratch. No, not that. I want... Oh, that reminds me of the episode thing. So... Automate. I don't think this is the one I want. No, it's not. It's not the one I want. You know what? We'll talk about that in a later episode. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I've only got about a half an hour till I have to switch context for the day. So, install Helm via automation. Oh yeah, I haven't saved my show notes yet. We'll worry about that later. So, for now, we're going to assume you installed Helm. Have I installed Helm? That's a good question. Oh, I do have Helm. Good. Helm. Nah. Okay. This does the same thing. Oh, and then flag. Okay. Do I not have the RanchCast.com? LS. Oh, I have the RanchCast.com. Okay. I will worry about that later. All right. No. Kube. Used? Huh? I've done something wrong. No, that's correct. I broke it when I changed the kube config file. When I broke it. We know when we broke it. We broke it here. Right? Yeah. /. Wonder if I need home there. Server was refused. Oh, config not found. It is home, right? Yep. Yeah. Okay. Kube. I very much dislike tools that don't automatically expand the tilde for you, but we are where we are. I don't think that's the first time I've tripped over that. It was way too familiar to me. All right, so let's go ahead and install Rancher, shall we? So, build our CLI tools. Yeah, we have that. Add the Helm repository. I might even have it, but let's go ahead and grab a latest. We're going to use latest. Don't use latest in prod. Don't use name tags in prod. All of that fun stuff. All right. To do. Install Helm. And then add Rancher repo. Helm. Ooh, that wasn't what I wanted. That was not very nice of me. All right. All right, we know that worked because we just did it. And then we need to go back and we need to do the install. Our create namespace. That worked. Start up. Done. If you can hear the stampede upstairs, I have 3 children and it's summer vacation, so occasionally just hear stampede because I haven't figured out how to do noise filtering very well yet. SSL configuration, we're just going to do standard old Rancher generated certs because this is local. So we're going to do a install cert manager, which is really not that hard. We're just going to grab these right here and trust that they won't blow up. I think they'll work fine. I've used them before. It's been a while. Famous last words, right? All right. Cert Manager has been installed. Let's install Cert Manager. Now, I like putting a weight in here. Wait for Cert Manager. And then Manager. Is it running? It it is running good. So we have cert manager. It means we can use the rancher installed certs. And then we're going to modify that. I think I'm 99% sure that Helm has a wait command or a wait flag. We're just going to use that when we in a production system. So use wait flag or whatever we need to wait. And then we'll also have to rancher, and it was what, VB thinkpad.local. Or no, we wanted to use the ingress name variable. It's why we built it to begin with. We can reuse it. All right. And then we'll see if it works. Yep. And let's not forget that. Boy, that was nice. All right. Now, one thing we do have to note is that we've redirected to 8088. So if I curl... Oh, so this should fail. And it does. Good. So, but if I go here... Not 9. The microphone in my way. Not 8080. Okay, actually, that's fine. I'm okay with that little failure there. That means it actually hit something. So, ThinkPad. You can see I use that a lot. Local : connection failed. I'm sure it's some SSL thing that is failing because, and then it's 404s. Is Rancher really up? It may not be. Oh, I bet it's not. CTL get cal system. Yep, that's why. Good to know. And this is why I like having the wait in my system. But this is really all you would need for an end-to-end, at least start of a CI/CD system. You know, if you were using your own software, you'd have to have a Docker build in there or a build kit build, depending on which one you were using. The creation of a Helm chart. I've talked about this before. If you're not Docker or Helm savvy, check out. Oh, what is it called? It's been a while since I've actually taught this. I've been teaching it for years, and it's a great project. It's an Azure project. It was a Deis project. Let's see my muscle memory can remember at GitHub. Azure/Draft. It's in my history. Thank you, Firefox. So Draft, and I still use Draft to this day, just for boilerplate. Ooh. It hasn't had a merge since February. That's okay. It's been around long enough that it doesn't get updates as often. What Draft does is it actually scans your source code and gives you, the full screen version of that. Not okay. Yeah, I'll make it bigger. So if we have a Golang project with the YAML file, it will actually create the Docker file, the Helm charts, and will immediately, if you do a draft up, build the Docker image, push to a local registry, push into Kubernetes. It's a great project. I've been, like I said, I've been teaching it for a couple of years now. It's one of those things that kind of, it's been in the background that, it's not a mainline tool that people use, but since a lot of developers don't yet know all the Docker and Kubernetes tools, especially in the .NET space, that's where I've been teaching it a lot. And just like that, it can also do the proxying. Like I said, great tool. But yeah, something to keep in mind. Let's see how this is coming along, shall we? Okay. That was weird. check my task manager. I feel like somebody's eating my system alive. Oh yes, my system is pinged. Oh, Firefox, you're being such a kind neighbor. And this is why I stream from a separate PC than what I actually do the work on. So, we're going to shut down some Firefox windows, shall we? Let's shut down this one, and let's see what that did to our task manager. Oh, oh, that's so painful. Oh, that's WSL. WSL is currently eating my machine alive. So this is my one complaint with WSL is that there's no easy toggles for how much it eats. Now, fortunately, it's a good neighbor and it behaves well, and it's running inside of a VM, so it never takes my machine down. But it will occasionally, I'll be like, why is the fan running so loud? How we doing? Still can. Oh, we were running. Just wasn't ready yet. Running. Oh, we got 2 out of 3 ready with some restarts. I fully expect some restarts. Let's see if we can get to it. Shall we? Oh. Let's find out. Okay, it's thinking. That's a good sign. I think I'm just resource constrained. I think I've bashed the heck out of this machine. Oh, of course you can't get to 443 or 8443. Oh, I would need another redirect in there, wouldn't I? Because Rancher's smart and will run secure. Okay, and honestly, this is why I use K3d, because I can make this change without it having a major impact on my life. So, load balancer, port, insecure, and load balancer. And there should not be anything on 8443. I hope there's not anything on 8443. Oh no. Okay. So I wonder if that means 443 on the load balancer. We're going to try it. We're off into things I have not yet tried, so we'll see how badly we fall on our face. If we fall on our face too badly, that's just fine. Rancher did take a minute to start up. I'm gonna, I don't think there's a way to add a port mid-flow, so we are going to wait for Rancher to come back up. I will knock things off this machine that's eating anything. So, what else could possibly be eating? I mean, I'm sure my 90,000 Slack channels is currently eating some memory there too. No, let's just see what Task Manager says. Performance. Yeah, we're eating all the CPU. Okay with that. I mean, it's not terrible. Firefox, Docker. I mean, it's not freezing. Not doing anything really terrible. It's just mildly obnoxious because... Yeah. Okay. Hang tight while we grab the latest. Start manager was successful. It wasn't really. Failed calling. Yeah, of course it did. Alright. There's some sleeps and some checks that need to happen to this test script, but you're getting the idea, right? We have the ability to basically create a script that allows us to work not just locally, but within CI/CD. So let's just reinstall that, because that's going to fail miserably. Oh no. Helm. Was it Helm delete? Helm. Helm rollback. Helm history. Oh. Just upgrade. There. roll back. So I have no deployed releases, so I can't upgrade, but I can't install because it failed. Boy, did I mess this thing up. Oh, working. I love Kubernetes. So this is the thing I love about Kubernetes, that eventually it will just work because you told it what to do, and it will keep trying until it does it. So even though it did get some errors, it's still going to do that. So I actually like that a lot. Watch S or T, and we'll just watch every 2 seconds. All right, that makes me pretty happy. Actually, that was actually a really low impact mistake. All right, we're coming up. We'll have a few restarts in there. Now, a lot of the software I'm working on is a lot faster to deploy than Rancher, so it's a Golang software that, deploy, builds, Docker builds, unit tests, and does everything in seconds. So this this example, the feedback loop's going to be a little bit larger if we're doing something as large as Rancher as part of our ceremony, but this works really well. Lets me constantly iterate on the mistakes I make. There we go. Advanced and accept risk and continue. Oh, and not found. I'm guessing there's an ingress missing. Isn't there? Is it still doing its thing? No, we have running. bbthinkpad.local 8443. Oh, that should work. Did I do? Not found. All right. Ooh. So this you won't have installed normally. Oh, Kubernetes. I use Kubernetes and kubectx. They're wonderful. Subscribe. Ingress. All right. DB ThinkPad local. Rancher on 80. Nginx proxy. Certificate created. Backend is Rancher 80. That should be fine. Rancher app cattle system, IP port combination, target port is 80, port is name port. Yeah, all that should work. Unless I've just done something really bad with K3d. Or I took over a port that I shouldn't have taken over and created like a loop or something. Connection failed, that's fine. Not found. I've broken something. That's okay. Let's just use a simpler contrived example and stand up Nginx. Because I do want to show this working before we end for the day. But I do know Rancher works. I've just configured it wrong. That I do know. So we'll worry about all of that later. That's okay. So we won't need Helm here. All right, kubectl run. I always forget the run command. So we're going to do that. Run. I give it a name. That seems appropriate. And then we're going to expose that on port. My port does. All right. Run nginx image. Port. Expose port 8. So yeah, so we're going to import. We're going to expose port. Oh, that means we're going to need an ingress controller. Yeah, I don't want to go through ingress and all of that. I don't feel like creating all of those things, and we're at 10:15, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. We're just going to call that JVB as failure. He is a failure. He's done terrible things. Oh wait, dude, I didn't remove Rancher, so I can just yo get ingress. Edit the ingress, and then instead we want to go to. We're gonna remove all these things now. Rancher may like what I've been doing here, and I don't care. Fail. For all these managed fields. And the name is going to be fail. That's fine. DB ThinkPad. Service name is not going to exist yet. We're just going to call it fail. And 80. That's fine. We don't need no TLS. Oh, it didn't like that. All right. I'm not going to fight with this. You get the idea what we're trying to do here. And really, the point was to show off K3d. So we did that. Let's talk about schedule moving forward. And I'll make sure the evidence of my failure is very much out in source control for you as well. I may just throw that. I'll throw the test script in the show notes is what I'll do. So schedule now. No, not Slack. As always, this will end up on YouTube /c/the RanchCast. If you're not watching live, that's probably where you found it. I'll make sure the description has this script in it. But moving forward, let's look at the channel. Upcoming live stream. We're at the very least going to do a bi-weekly live stream. Now you'll notice here it says August 11th. It says August 11th because the next time I was scheduled to have a stream, I'm on vacation, taking the family to the beach, socially distanced beaching. But need some family time for the summer. So the next scheduled RanchCast is for 8/11. If I have time next week on Tuesday, I'll do another session, maybe on K3s or or Ketchup or one of these other tools to help developers stand up Kubernetes quickly, or maybe I'll do one on Draft. I haven't done a session on Draft in a very long time, so maybe I'll do one on Draft either next week or on 8/11. But that'll be our schedule moving forward. So, I just realized my camera's dead. I'm guessing the battery died on it. So I will switch over to here. That's my laptop cam. Thank you all for joining me today. Sorry for the bugs. They happen. It's part of live coding. But if you have any questions, hit up the comments on YouTube. Follow on YouTube. Follow on Twitch. Subscribe. Join us on Slack. I'm always in the RanchCast channel. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.